All right, Saturday. And Sleeping Beauty woke up before I got back home because I went yard selling with a friend this morning. And so Sleeping Beauty has done flew the coop. And so today's task is back in the shop, headed up to the barn, and it's harmonic balancer pull today. And I think we got to pull the power steering pump and then unearth the timing chain to see if that is what is causing Geraldine to literally not fire. She has left me on the side of the road, I think 3 times. Two of them was hoses. The other was the water pump was leaking after I changed all the hoses and the belts and the water pump. Then she decides that she just doesn't want to fire. So this has been a long, arduous process. I really hope that we can get all of this handled today and get her roadworthy again, because we're coming up on school being out for the summer, and all of my kids are done and gone out of the house. But I've got nieces and nephews that I like to do things with through the summer, and my work schedule affords me that option to where if I want to take off with my camper, I can. And I can only do that if I can get her back on Geraldine. Yes, I could leave it sitting on the C20, which we probably will when we go to the C10 show toward the end of the year there in September. But for the most part, I want my own truck. I want my truck back. And so that's our Saturday task. Whenever Sleeping Beauty decides to resurface back here at the house. So I'm headed up to the barn, and I'm going to start getting everything kind of opened up and going for the day. So, you know, I try to make his life easier since he works insane hours, and I get to points on the truck that I can no longer do. So I've got to the point that I don't know what else to do. I've never pulled a harmonic balancer, so I don't need to screw it up by any means. So headed up to the barn. I'm gonna get everything kind of ready to go. He usually doesn't like when I do that, but okay. So since I have not really done a full-scale breakdown, Norma Jean, the 1972 camper, which has been the first camper I've ever remodeled, rehab, basically rebuilt. It was a project that actually we've had for years. Somebody gave it to us, and I think we had it for 6 or 7 years, just kind of hanging out. We actually used it as, I would say, dry storage. Loosely used term because it had a lot of water damage. But actually out of a necessity to combat some depression that I was dealing with. Typically if I fall back into that hump or that valley, I got to get on a project to kind of keep me focused. So out of necessity was born this camper rebuild remodel. It was a task that took me 7 months. I tried to work on it every single day, or any day that I could. As soon as I got off work, I would come home and I would just get to it. There were points along the way that he had to help, like welding the cab over frame for the bed, plumbing, electrical. Well, I say plumbing, but it was more for the propane because I didn't want to explode. But little things like that I don't really know. I should know. I think everybody should know simple things like that. I know a lot, but those are things that I didn't really, that felt like I needed to learn, but apparently here we are, I did. But so Norma Jean is a 1972 Dreamer. I felt like at the beginning this was going to be an absolute Chip and Joanna Gaines, just changed the inside look, a little bit of buff and polish, changed the color, and she was going to be golden. And the more I undid, the worse it got. And it almost got to a complete nightmare, to the point that I almost gave up just a few times, because every time I would, peel something back, I would unearth even more water damage, to the point that it was like, I'm literally rebuilding this entire camper. And that's what I ended up doing, basically. So I have taken this camper out several times, and I absolutely love it. I mean, it has 32 square feet, but I have been, just having a ball and living, when I'm in it, in that 32 square feet, and it has not slowed me down. It has not impeded having fun. It has not done anything. things that I love about the truck bed camper is the nimbleness that you have with it. Now, I didn't have the nimbleness in the dually for several reasons. One, you know, when I'm going into these older town areas, she's wide. And so you have a little bit of a navigation thing. And with the dually as high as it already was, you set the camper in on top. I was already at 10 foot high. And so any areas that were kind of in the older sections of town and they had low hanging stoplights, those were things I had to kind of pay attention to. So in terms of nimbleness with that, I really struggled with that one. When she was in Geraldine, my 87 D250, she was nimble. She wasn't fast, but you know, I could kind of go where I wanted to go, as long as there wasn't a bunch of hills, because she just didn't like it. But I also found out this because apparently I overpacked her. I mean, I felt like I needed literally everything that I have in my house. I needed in this little 3,200 square foot camper. Turns out, not the case. So there will be a reorganization as I finish unloading her, because I have unloaded only one side of this camper and it has made all the difference in the world. But I'll finish unloading her. But I have other plans, and those other plans for this camper involve another task. And I won't say a large task, but it's going to be a large task, a large undertaking, where I've got a service bed, truck bed. And I'll go up there. It's kind of hidden in a whole bunch of weeds at the moment up on Sawbucks, but got a service bed truck that I'm going to put on an 8-lug axle, turn it into an actual trailer. And that gives me the option for when we do a little bit different trips. I can put Norma Jean, the camper, inside of this service bed truck, frees up the bed of my truck, gives me an outdoor kitchen capacity, more areas to pack stuff in. But it also gives me the ability to not have to take the camper with me anytime I go out. Like when I go get a shower at Planet Fitness, or I want to go thrift store shopping because, you know, I need no more stuff, but I'm going to go look for it. So it gives me a little bit more free moving per se, and in times like that. You can see big boy Max coming up behind me. But I'm not bound by leaving it in that situation, because I still love the nimbleness of having it strictly in the truck bed. So I can pull it in, pull it out, and move back and forth, but I have the option. So that's going to be just sprinkled about all the other projects that we got going on. That's going to be what I'm going to work on this summer, amongst everything else. But I'm going to really put a lot of focus in on that. So I'll take you up here and we'll look at this service bed, truck bed that I have, and kind of give you the vision. So if we walk up here, it's on the other back side of the shop / barn, you know, past several other projects that we have sitting up here, like the 62 wagon, our boat, which is functional, but you know, we got plans for it, because we don't ever do anything just base. Apparently we got to take it up about 75 notches. Take us up here past the 75 motorhome that we're going to remodel and redo. And let's see if I can make it back here without sliding into the clay, because it's rained like Jesus 15 out of 18 weekends. And yeah, we got a ton of mud, a lot of red mud. I've also got another camper sitting over here. See, there's the 75 motorhome in all of her glory, and she runs. I did get her fired up. It had sat for, I don't know, 10 years. And we went and picked it up off a guy a couple miles down the road. And I'm having to meander here through the hill of wet red clay. So pay attention, don't pay attention, ignore all of the mess around here, because we got a lot of cleaning up to do. But I'm out here by the chicken coop, or one of them. So here is the situation that I will be undertaking here soon, because I got to get him to unearth this and bring it out. So this is my service bed that I'm going to put in, well, I'm going to put Norma Jean in, That's what happens when you're married to not a hoarder, but a collector of such. But anyways, I want to put, well, I've got a lot of cutting, a lot of grinding. I may leave this handle on here, not sure yet, but you know, I got to cut off these eye hook situations. I've got to remove that, if you can see, that toolbox, which I'm sure I'll utilize in another spot within this build. You know, I've got to cut all these things off, cut all these brackets off, cut that frame up there, and then I've got to get wires. I've got to wire it for all the lights, but it will give me the ability that when we're out traveling and we go to, you know, all these car shows, that I've got the option to turn this into like an outdoor kitchen. So my plan with this is, you know, I can shorten this shelf down and, you know, put my air fryer out here and a deep fryer, cover this with some beautiful wood, put some pallet board, you know, base in there, spiffy it up, put me some LED lights and run them up underneath here so I have lighting outside. So that gives me that. You know, I can lock this stuff up. I've got this cabinet. That cabinet up here actually runs, no, this one does not. We have another service bed truck, but the other one that actually runs deep all the way through, this one does not. But that gives me an option that I can actually do like my house battery for the camper. So when I run my 12 volt, I can have all of my systems set up somewhere within here. Have propane set, you know, extra propane tanks. I can have him do several options in terms of, you know, having our bikes. Because when we go up to Pigeon Forge to the, well, what used to be Shades of the Past. I don't know if they still have it or not. We would take our bikes, ride our bikes while we're there. So I'll need a place to put our bicycles, put our waders for when we go, you know, fishing out in the river there. It gives me a ton more option for storage capacity, which I know is the issue I have now with Norma Jean and Geraldine in combination. The Geraldine is set up with additional leaf springs to make up for that weight differential, but I think it also taxes her out a bit. But so this is one of my plans. This is going to be turned. I gotta get an 8-lug, which I have an 8-lug axle on a trailer that I bought off my brother. But I don't know. I might just buy me an axle and then sell that livestock trailer. We have another service bed truck that my husband has plans for. It's got a diesel in it. I think the motor was locked up, but it's in great condition in terms of the dash isn't cracked, the seat's in great condition, the hood's up on top. But let's see, this is a C22 5.2 liter diesel. But you know, well, this service bed is in great condition. I mean, mine's not in bad, it's got some areas, but he had plans for this to drop it down, put it on airbag ride, and I think he wanted to get like a truck bed camper top and then just have like something you just slide in at night to sleep if you're going to go to like quick little car shows. But it gives us the option on the outside to do like a small little outdoor kitchen also, but we can ride together. But you know, we've got so many projects, it's insane. Then that brings you down here to this camper that I've actually put up for sale, but no one's really wanted it, and that's okay, because if I can ever get caught up on projects, I might turn this into like a an in-law little suite, like a one-room little situation. But it's like I got this off my brother. He always gets me. This was a camper up at his hunting cabin or a hunting site up in West Virginia, which is where I'm originally from. And he brought it home. This might have been 5 years ago. And we actually used it back when we used to decorate for Christmas years and years ago. I used to use it down in our front pasture where it looked like the lampoons, you know, Cousin Eddie, the shitter's fool. I would do this little setup out there in the front pasture with it. Everybody in the community loved it. But I got tired of having to like undo everything, haul it back up, and undoubtedly it'll be wet, and we could never get down into the bottom of the pasture to get it back out for months. And so it just got to be cumbersome. So I was gonna sell it. And it turns out that I might actually just hold on to it. I know, imagine that. And turn it into like a little in-law suite. Uh-oh, Sleeping Beauty's back. So we will get into the shop. But this is the camper that I've got that I will see. Still got the tree on there from Cousin Eddie, but we got it out. We'll probably have to take it all the way down to the frame and then frame it out and then reskin it, and then just kind of turn it into a little one-room little in-law suite. Or if we have people come up and visit, they got a little spot they can stay in, make it a little cute and quaint. Max, what are you following us for? Your foot's in it. Says meet me on the top of the hill. So we can get the extended forks. So we can move my service bed. We have more stuff for projects than one can know what to do with. So there are days that he absolutely loves me, and then there's days like today where he did not want to move the service bed. It is very wet. We have been raining nonstop, and we're going to have another full day of rain tomorrow. And I look like ass because I have been working all day. We haven't even got to my truck yet. But he moved my service bed out. So that means every day I get home from work, I can come out here. I thought I was going to catch Max pooping. Get this thing cleaned out and get to working on it. So he put it out here underneath this huge pecan tree, which is where we actually got married, underneath this tree. The way the barn is positioned, the sun beats down on it on the front side. So over here we actually have shade so we can work after we get out of work and be somewhat under the shade of this pecan tree. So yay me, as if my arm already doesn't hurt. Cut wheels for days on this thing. So there's that. That brings Saturday to a close. We got several projects handled today. One, I was able to convince him to, good God, I got dirt all over me. I was able to get him to bring my service bed truck bed down so I can start working on it when I get off work each night. I got my black stone griddle top wire brushed and cleaned off after it's been sitting all winter. We'll use it tonight, start getting it seasoned and used. Got the boat trailer for a John boat that we had gave to my nephew. Got it welded up so we could give it to him. Gave him a John boat, the trailer, and trolling motor. And took to Geraldine. That was a nightmare. Time and chain cover off, time and chain, several teeth broke. So now I get to pull and drop the oil pan, clean it out, and go for the screen to make sure I don't have any debris caught up in there. Fingers crossed that will put her back on the road after we get all that done. I mean, I'm going to take probably 2 days to get all the parts cleaned, to even get them put back together and all that good jazz. So it was a productive weekend since he actually had Saturday off for the first time in God and forever. But we're tired. So that's it for this Saturday.